So I've seen them all, and I wanted to make this choice as easy as possible for you watching. First up, category super thin. 4 contenders: Pitaka, Benks, Thinborne and Mous. I will first give an introduction with features, and then after that I will compare them all and pick the winner. Starting off with the Thinborne case. This one is new to me, but if you've seen the Benks ArmorAir or the Pitaka MAGez 3 or 4, you will easily recognize it's pretty much the same. They tweaked certain aspects here and there to make it worth your time. I've said it again and again though, with that Aramid Fiber, some people will like the texture aspect and some will like the smooth out versions better. Here, it's perfectly balanced. You will still feel that texture to it, but it's also very soft. So basically, best of both worlds. It features MagSafe and the magnets are really strong. Whoa, these are almost comparable to the rock form case, and that's saying something. Watch that video too if you don't believe me. Very strong magnets for sure. Funnily enough, no interference with nothing attached, but with something attached, you'll find slight interference. Much less so than with comparable brands though. Big enough bottom cutouts, especially with the USB-C, which is very big, and the S Pen is easily accessible too. It features the lowest camera bump of today's cases though, which could be a downside and a pro. That's all up to you. I like the design on here though. They made 3 lenses slightly thicker, giving them good protection, while making the other 2 sensors completely flush. Comparing the Thinborne case to the Benks case, whoa. I'd never imagine I'd say it, but the fit on the Thinborne is much better in my opinion. And that's mostly got to do with this one being easily installed, but also removed, and clicks on there very tightly with a secure fit. On the Benks though, you will install it without issue and also a tight fit, but removing it could be a pain. And that's funny because on the iPhone I had exactly the same issue, but with Pitaka. Benks and Pitaka are head-to-head when it comes to this. Moving on to the Benks case, it features a strong MagSafe magnet, no interference when nothing is attached, but normal interference when something is attached. So compared to all the specs we've heard so far, the only major difference is the camera bump, which is very big in comparison. It's also aluminium, which feels very premium. It has cutouts at the top and bottom, but for my testing it wasn't worth anything at all. If you watch my other videos, you know I'm a big proponent of an easy fit. Get it off easily, but also installed easily without sacrificing a snug fit. And I know it's possible. This year though, Benks sacrificed the removing of the case for a snugger fit. And to me, that's not a positive. But maybe it is to you. Either way, you won't have to worry about losing this case. Its texture on the back is pretty much non-existent and it's now as smooth as Pitaka's cases. The cutouts are also very much alike, only the USB-C cutout is bigger here. Then, the Pitaka one. The camera bump is very different and also the most unique one in today's video in my opinion. The fit is excellent. Good MagSafe, yet normalish in comparison with the Thinborne or the Benks. The cutouts at the bottom are very similar to those cases and of course very soft material on the back. But you cannot feel the texture here though. Biggest difference here is that the sides are much more exposed, with the Benks/Thinborne or even the Mous cases having full on sides with portions or button cutouts. Here it's like one big cutout and having them to see exposed titanium on the sides. Only at the top and bottom is this one fully protected. It does cover the corners a little bit though to compensate for that. This is a very beautiful design and that's probably why they did it. Then the Mous one. This one is more of a consideration since they'll probably release the Aramid Fiber version of this one in a few months. Check the description if you're watching this, as they may have already released it, but I really like this one. It's a satisfying click when you install it, and also no weird cracking sounds when removing it. They made cutouts on the side for a smoother release on the top and bottom part, but the protection is all round. They even made button cutouts instead of just leaving it open. Love what Mous did here. They really put in the effort to make this a success. The button cutouts have a slight rounding to it as well, once again proving their attention to detail, since they could have easily made it a flat cutout. On the front, you'll see that evenly distributed titanium edge, which is very neatly done. It only has protection on the top and bottom though, since the sides are lower than the screen, which is something to note. On the bottom, you'll find good cutouts, and even though this one has the pin USB-C design, it's very smooth, no sharp edges whatsoever. Really a refined feel and thus very comfortable too over longer sessions. The camera bump has a very subtle edge on there, and I mean very subtle. It still utilizes the thickness to still have that protection as well. So I'd say overall, really good job. Now imagine if they'll release this one in Aramid Fiber. It will look even better. And it already looks and feels like a tailored suit. The MagSafe aspect is very strong. Without anything attached here, no issues at all. With something attached though, you will see a lot of interference. Nonetheless, awesome case. There's no bad ones here, but there can only be one winner. If you want to know which one wins the category called super thin, it's Thinborne. Full side protection with only a cutout for the buttons, the biggest front bezel, which inspires confidence in its ability to still protect your phone. And it's still so thin, there's really no need to make it any thinner in my opinion. Very strong MagSafe, easy yet snug fit, and the most minimalist camera bump there is. So Thinborne, first place for sure. I'd say the Mous case is also a very strong contender. So definitely keep an eye out for that one too. For me, the Benks case is too difficult to get off the phone, which would make it less desirable. It does feel really smooth though, but I've already damaged it by taking it off by force, since there is really no other way. So I cannot recommend. The Pitaka case is of course really good as well, especially with that beautiful camera bump, but the sides are half exposed. A risky choice. If you like that naked feel on your phone though, Pitaka wins by far. It has the most natural feeling profile, and it really comes close to forgetting you even got a case on there. Make sure you get the sunset color though, that one is grippier. Moving on to the next category, the bigger cases. The Mous Limitless 5.0, the Spigen Enzo Aramid, and the Benks Armor Pro. Starting off with the Mous case. Awesome case, a really good fit on here, with that aggressive front bezel. It makes it easier to get it off there, but it also protects it for sure. I really like that unique shape to the top and bottom here, which will leave dents on your flooring, but not on your phone. And that's what it's about. Switching to the back, you will find the regular P-shaped camera bump, which is mostly the thickness of the case. I would like a little more protection here, since now it's pretty exposed. You will also find the Aramid Fiber, which is really soft here too. No textures or pattern noticeable. So if you've ever had a Pitaka case, it's just like that. The only big downside here though is the fact that it's only a small plate. And where that plate meets the sides, you can feel the sides. And these borders are also not refined at all, and a little sharp to touch. Luckily, not at the bottom, so only the sides. Still a pretty big issue though, which can be annoying. They should have fixed this by now, and on the other models it's almost completely gone. But here, it's back. Maybe it's QC, maybe it's something to do with the material, I'm not sure, but it's not comfortable right now. Very clicky buttons though. And on the sides, that same wavy pattern we see on all their Limitless cases, which will increase grip a ton. It does feature MagSafe, and it does interfere with the S Pen. But once again, only when something is attached. Without something attached, no issue. You will also find that soft inner here as well, which might be something of value when comparing these. Then, the Benks Armor Pro, a very solid choice as well. It features a small profile, especially from the sides. Doesn't really feel like one of those bulkier cases, even though it gives a lot of the same protection. On the front, it has those top and bottom bezels here. The sides are protected too, even though very minimal. On the back, it features exactly the same camera bump like the Air version, and just like that one, it has the same powerful set of magnets as well. Very little interference though, so probably because of the added bulk at the back. Without anything attached, no interference. At the bottom, it features a big enough USB-C cutout, but for some reason they made the S Pen cutout smaller. And here it's not big enough, because now I cannot press it with my finger anymore and I need to use my smallest fingernail to get it out, which is not good. Very tactile and good buttons though. On the front, you can also notice a little titanium coming through, which doesn't look like it's intended. Could be better this year. Moving on to another favorite of mine, the Enzo Aramid case. And here it's just as good, and you love to see it. Just look at those silver aluminium buttons here. They are all very clicky. It goes so well with that black Aramid too. The case feels really refined and it's also very comfortable to hold. A snug fit, but easy to remove and install. They solved the camera bump with this black plate, and although it looks good, I would have loved to see something more unique. The front bezel is equal on every side, which is something I love to see too, and especially with that flat display now. What's funny though is the fact that even though the inside shows a MagSafe ring, it doesn't have MagSafe. Not sure why they left that design in there like this. Maybe it was easier to produce? I don't know, it's pretty funny. This is also one of the strongest cases I've seen over the years. You can't bend it or anything. Yet it feels like it will absorb falling impacts and not break because it's solid. The inner feels premium too with that soft cloth, and just like with the iPhone, I will definitely recommend this one. Now you can probably guess which one is going to win. The Spigen Enzo Aramid won this one. And it's not even close, especially the fit, the buttons and just the overall premium build. It really makes you appreciate this case if you get it in real life.